Well, good day, everybody. It's time for another update on our long-term Mazda 3. If you're new here, we got a whole series of long-term ownership videos on this 2022 Mazda 3 Carbon Edition polymetal gray paint. This is the big thing that comes with this. Some other little goodies. And the big thing here, this is just a front-wheel drive, no turbo here. And there's a lot of other videos out there. I think we've got 4 or 5 long-term updates and some gas mileage stuff, so check out all of that. But today's the big one. Today we're doing our 1-year update and just sort of a recap of everything that's gone on and what our thoughts are for long-term ownership, because that's the big question. We have to decide what we're going to do with this Mazda 3. Are we going to keep it? Are we going to get another long-term? Or even polled you guys. You guys are pretty, at least the folks who weighed in, said, yeah, you should keep this. So that is going to be a consideration. We'll get into all that on the drive. Now we're out here doing one of my favorite things, and that's to take an early morning drive right as the sun is coming up. We got the binaurals going. I'm going to talk a little bit about the maintenance on this. We did have it in the shop for its 20,000 mile checkup. We'll talk a little bit about maintenance in general. We haven't really dove into that on these Mazda 3 Skyactiv 2.5s. Now, before we do that, just check out the paint on this over a year. Still thrilled with the polymetal gray. Over 20,000 miles. We have no chips. Maybe, nope, that's not one there. But really no chips on the front of this. This paint is holding up very, very well. And one thing I will mention is about 6 months ago, I did 2 coats of the Turtle Wax ceramic spray coating. I'll put the link to that video right up there. I've been very pleased with this. It's been 6 months. And other than washings, it's holding up very, very well. So really, really impressed with the longevity of that. But check out that video. We did a lot of paint prep, make sure it was absolutely spotless clean before we put that on. Got the binaurals going today and gonna pop it in sport mode. So let's take a drive. Now, first things first, let's just do a little quick update on gas mileage. Nothing new to report there. This last tank, right now averaging 33 on this tank. That's fairly mixed driving, a little bit of, I'd say 50-50 combo. So over the life of this, we are averaging like 32.7, I'd have to check, but not a lot of change there. This thing seems to be settled in right around 32, 33. If you take this out on the road, we've done a couple road trips, 4, 5, 6 hours. This will do high 30s, 37, 38, 39 out on the highway. So still pleased with the overall gas mileage. Now, some astute observers have noticed the little red line on my speedometer and the speed limit sign right there. I did go ahead and you can go out and buy the Mazda Navigation card. You can get those out on eBay or anywhere people are selling them. I put it in, it was like 50 bucks, and now I have the Mazda Navigation system. I've never used it. It's not that great. The one nice thing about it is it's great as a backup. Who knows, if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you lose cell coverage and you forgot to download Google Maps, who knows, it could be a good backup to your phone. And it does do stop sign and speed limit. But it's a nice little feature. I don't even think it was worth the 50 bucks that I paid, just letting you know. The only other update I did is I finally replaced our interior trunk light. I had the replacement bulb for quite a while, but the one in there that really dim, I guess it's an incandescent bulb. So I went out a long time ago and I bought an LED and replaced that. And boy, what a difference. Nice and bright in there. I was finding a hard time finding a specific LED bulb size to use. Just putting in 2022 Mazda 3 really wasn't helping much. So anyway, I'll put a link to this one down here. I ended up getting this Auxido out on Amazon, and it works great. What a big improvement. Now all the lighting in here is LED. The trunk light was the only thing that wasn't. So that's really the only thing we've done to the car ourselves. Those minor little things. Now, we did take it in for our 20,000 mile checkup. Still very happy with our dealer as far as that. That was another complimentary service. Basically just swapping the tires front to back, doing an oil change, checking all the fluids, inspections. They give you a little video of the tech going around the car, telling you the status of your brake pads, things like that. Should be a little bit of B-roll going on of that right now. Well, there's been two things if you watch those old videos. One is that the Bose Stereo system would freak out with popping sounds. It seems to have cured itself. I have no what am I trying to say? I have no other happenings of that. It's still early. And I did narrow it down to center point. Whenever it happened, I would turn off center point and it would clear itself. So it was a Bose center point thing, but I don't know if it's a software update or it just the ghost left the car. I'm not really sure there, but no issues there. The other thing was some hissing coming from this power steering column, and I can amplify it. I've been thinking about putting it in a video. I just don't want to freak anybody out because it's so subtle and so light. But I did some audio engineering to pump it up. Again, Mazda acknowledges that it's there, and I just haven't really pushed them to do anything about it. But it's trivial to me. It does not detract from the car experience whatsoever. Any other maintenance issues? No, absolutely zero. They gave us a good report, gave us good health on our brake pads, and everything else on the car checks out pretty well. And we have had zero issues. Now, I will say, with the brake pedal feel, one of my favorite things about driving this car is the brake pedal feel. Maybe at the top, as you engage right at the top, there might be just a hint of real high frequency vibration. But once you get into the brake pedal, it goes away. Again, it's just a hint, but I don't think it's like warpage or anything like that. I think it's just wear on the pads that's being picked up at the top of the pedal. But again, it's really, really subtle, nothing major there. So overall, for the entire year, we have been extremely pleased with the initial quality. So that's one thing about these long-term updates. We cannot assess long-term reliability in just a year of ownership, but we can assess, and our whole goal here is to assess how's the car been delivered from the factory. This is the Mexico assembly plant. This one was assembled there. Some are assembled in Japan. And as far as overall design and build quality of the car, we've had a very, very good experience. And based on the 2.5 and the 6-speed transmission, we expect no real problematic issues. This is a pretty well sorted drivetrain by Mazda, but no creaks, no rattles. Everything works other than the little bit of a gremlin with that Bose system. And some people have even said I am hard of hearing because all these Mazda 3 rattles, and I can tell you that is not the case. I'm a rattle snob. I cannot stand any squeaks or rattles at all, and we have had none of those. Oh, I suppose I'll put it in sport mode. Let's do that. Well, really. Now, the one thing with sport mode is it basically holds gears. It makes the already responsive transmission even more responsive, and I have found that just driving around in regular mode is fine enough. But if you really want to have it hold gears even more and be a little bit more touchy on the upshifts and downshifts, or at least the downshifts anyway, you can pop it into sport. Now, it doesn't change the steering or anything. Now, before we keep going, I do want to give you guys and gals a big hearty thank you for pressing play on this specific video today. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it. And check out all of our other content on Beyond Test Drive. If we've done anything of value today and done a good job, give this thumbs up. That's what the YouTube algorithm needs from you to help us and to help you get the videos in your feed that suits your interest. The other thing I would mention is that we have spent a lot of time in other cars over the past month. I'll put some links to some, what I would consider some things that were more impressive than I thought. I spent about a week in a Tesla Model 3, and when it comes to long-term or next long-term, that was actually on the list of possibly going over to that. I don't think we're going to do that, but check out our Tesla Model 3 video. That is a super fun car to drive. I actually had that out on Angeles Crest Highway, which is one of the most famous driving roads in the United States. Hey, and another car, and I know this has been received sort of lukewarm by the press and the public as far as how sort of vanilla it looks. That's the Honda Accord. I had the hybrid sport out for a quick drive, and And I have to tell you, I was really impressed with that hybrid drivetrain. I think Honda has finally figured out how to make, or at least to fake out, a regular driving experience with that. And that's the same drivetrain in the Honda CR-V hybrid. So check out those two videos there. And here's our railroad tracks for some bumps. And any rattle you picked up there was my light bulb pack. So pretty solid car. I do have some music we can listen to real quick if you haven't heard the Bose. Again, I got the binaurals going. Let's just crank that up. Down, we're going to do a little bit of a dig here. $60 for those who like that kind of thing. I'll go ahead and pop up the maintenance schedule for this 3 here. They make no mention of transmission fluid. They say it's lifetime. They make no mention of brake fluid, but oil changes every 10,000 or 12 months. But don't do that. Don't go past 6 months or 5,000 miles. The only other big thing is plugs at 75,000 miles. But other than that, all the typical things you would see on most cars' maintenance schedule. Now, I have seen a lot more Carbon Editions out on the dealer lot. The one thing to keep in mind is that the 2023s looks like they've dropped the Bose. That's probably a chip issue. So unfortunately, I don't know if the 2023s, but Mazda's always changing what you get and don't get in each trim levels based on their parts they can get. So always keep an eye out on them. So a lot has changed over the last year in the auto industry, and these are much more available and you can get them now. You just got to be patient. All right, so where do we go from here? We're not quite sure. We're not quite sure what we're gonna do. I do know that we absolutely love this Mazda 3. So if we do a new long-termer, it's gonna be a really, really tough one for us, because I don't think I've owned a car that I just am charmed by more than this Mazda 3 on a daily basis. Could be a lot to do with the carbon trim, but the Mazda 3 itself, I can't recommend these small cars enough. Again, it's all about space in that back seat, but they just drive phenomenal, and absolutely thrilled with it. But we want to know what you think. As I said before, let us know. The next video, the very next video on this Mazda 3, we're going to tell you its fate. So keep an eye out for that one. Thanks for coming along today, and have a great day, morning or evening, wherever you may be.